All right, hi guys. So I read the book Hoot by Carl Hyacin, and this book was your typical middle school story about a kid named Roy Eberhart who has moved around more times than he can count due to his father's job. So, being the new kid in school, he's faced with a bully, Dana, and on the very first day, Dana bullies him, and he is much bigger than Roy, and basically singles him out as his new victim for the entire year. So, also while Roy is on the bus, he notices a strange kid outside who's running very fast and running barefoot. He realizes he's never seen this kid before, and this kid does not attend his school. So he's really confused and intrigued by who this kid is. He becomes a subject of interest for Roy, and he wants to find out who this kid is. When Beatrice, who is a girl also that attends their school, finds out that he is actively searching for the running kid, she also begins to bully him. She's kind of one of the bigger kids, bigger girls in the school, and she bullies him as well. So we come to find out later in the book that Beatrice is the running kid's sister. Mullet Fingers is the name that we know him as. That's what she calls him. And Roy ends up finding out that Mullet Fingers escaped from a boarding school that he was sent to by his mother, who has neglected him. Basically, his parents didn't want him, and so they shipped him to boarding school, and he escaped. So he now lives in the woods by himself, and he does not attend school because he doesn't want anyone to know that he is hiding out. All the while, the story flips back and forth between this middle school conflict and another greater conflict. Mother Paula's pancake house is about to break ground in the new town that Roy lives in. Everyone is really excited for the most part, but the construction site keeps getting vandalized for some reason, which slows down the building of Mother Paula's pancake house. A cop in the book, Officer Delinko, is in charge of finding this vandal. He camps out around the site in a squad car trying to find ways to catch this person who is destroying the construction site. So things happen, like the signs get torn down, they found snakes on the property, just all kinds of random things. And he's trying to figure out who's doing this. Well, Roy realizes that Mullet Fingers has stuff in the woods where he lives that resembles a lot of what he's read about the vandal in town. And Roy knows that there has to be some sort of reason that Mullet Fingers would be doing this, vandalizing. So he went to the construction site himself. He found out that there were baby owls that were burrowing in the ground at the construction site. He knows that this is an important habitat that he must maintain. So he, Mullet Fingers, and Beatrice do everything they can to stop the construction of Mother Paula's from happening. They end up saving the baby owl burrows and getting the owner of Mother Paula's in trouble for breaking environmental codes, trying to destroy the home of the endangered animals. So the only real physical development we see in this book is the fact that Roy is much smaller than Dana, who is his bully. And we usually see this in books or movies as bigger kids seem to be more intimidating to students, even if they're the same age. So we know that they're in the same class, same grade, but since Dana's bigger than Roy is, he seems to be the bully, and it seems to be fitting for him. For cognitive development, Roy seems a little mature for his age. He probably has to be this way for the purpose of, like, he's been moving around a lot his whole life, and he has to kind of grow up and be more of an adult in that aspect. There are some important decisions he has to make in the book. He must decide if he should tell someone about Mullet Fingers, as he's a homeless kid, and that would probably be a pretty adult thing for him to have to do. And he also has to decide if he should tell anyone about the owls that he saw at the construction site. So he has to decide if that's worth it, or if they're going to, like, try to figure out a way to help them themselves. So for social emotional development, we have a few characters. Roy has some emotions about moving around all the time. He gets in some trouble at school. He hits Dana in the face, actually, like standing up to his bully, and his parents are not very happy with him. He expresses that he is sick of moving all the time, but he knows that it's bound to happen again, so he basically acts like he doesn't care about getting in trouble. So we know that as, like, a common thing, common aggression for kids who move around all the time or something like that. They feel like they have to act out in some way because they're always a new kid and they always have to prove something. So he doesn't really enjoy that aspect. We know Dana the bully has some bad social emotional development issues, and this is likely due, partially at least, to his relationship with his parents. We know that Dana and his parents have a relationship that is pretty aggressive, and we can see that it's likely this is where his aggression is stemming from. Mullet Fingers was essentially disowned from his own mother and father, for that matter, but the only person that he really talks to is his sister. So he's basically disconnected from the world and acts out in this vandal behavior. So this is, again, very common, a common theme that we would see with kids who are neglected or something like that. They act out in ways to get attention, and I think that yes, he was doing it for a good reason, but it could also have gone a different way. So he was kind of going about it in a way that would get attention, and instead of just going to talk to someone, but he didn't have anyone to talk to. So that's an interesting point for social emotional development. And for moral development, that we know that's a lot about how we treat other people, and there's a lot in this book about that. We know that Dana does not treat people very well. He is a bully, and he clearly does not know right from wrong. He was never taught right from wrong, apparently from his parents, because his parents also seem to not know right from wrong. Even when Roy tries to apologize for hitting Dana in the face, which was in self-defense, Dana still does not forgive him and bullies him even more and tries to choke him on multiple occasions throughout the book. Roy goes through some challenges about right or wrong in the book. As stated, like I said, in cognitive development, he has some decisions to make about whether or not to rat out Mullet Fingers or keep him a secret. So I think he realized that keeping Mullet Fingers a secret was probably actually the right thing to do, because Mullet Fingers was trying to do something important by saving the baby owls. So he knows that if he ratted out Mullet Fingers, he would have never been able to meet the challenge that he was trying to do, saving the baby owls, and mother paws would have actually been built, and the baby owl burrows would have been destroyed, and the baby owls would have been killed. So I think he actually thinks he did the right thing there, and he also is able to show his moral sense when he uses evidence against the owner of Mother Paula's to ensure that the baby owls will be saved. So he kind of proves himself to the owner and the whole city that he knows that this is the right thing to do, and even if it's going to get him in some trouble standing up for himself, he knows that it's the right thing to do. So in the end, the baby owls can be saved, and the construction site will be taken down, and they will get in trouble. So I think it's a really good book for a lot of reasons. It's hard to give a short summary of it, but it's a really good book about bullying and standing up for yourself, and making sure that you're always doing the right thing. And sometimes the right thing might be hard to do, or seem like not the right thing to do in the first place, but if there's a good thing that comes out of it at the end, and it could actually be the right thing to do after all.